Good time of day, guys! My name is Godzi, and welcome to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 5, Meakashi. So, at long last, we finally reached the Answers arcs and, Kai, and I also changed the title screen, which is different, but I kinda like it. It feels more serious than, the one beforehand, which definitely had more of an old visual novel type feel to it, you know? Even though I'm pretty sure CUTTHROAT had basically the same format, right? I don't remember. But either way, I've been told several times that this chapter is very good, both in the comments of my videos, as well as just things I've heard on Twitter and stuff like that, just like, Meakashi is the best chapter, Meakashi is the best chapter, Meakashi is peak Ryukishi writing. So I'm excited to finally experience this chapter in the visual novel format that it was originally written in, as opposed to the anime, which was fine still, but this arc didn't really stand out to me as much as Sumi Horoboshi did in the first one, honestly, as well as anything in Higurashi Kai the anime, rather than Higurashi Kai the visual novel, because this and Sumi Horoboshi were in Season 1, from what I remember. So, yeah. Anyways, before we get too deep into here, if you're new here, I just want to say a few things. One, I am not new to Higurashi. This is not my first, well, this is my first time through the visual novel, not my first time through the story. I have seen the original anime, I've been watching Go, and just been Let's Playing this alongside, so yeah, whenever a new episode of Go airs, I'm also going to be discussing it in my next subsequent episode of whatever Higurashi series I'm in the middle of. So currently, right now, Meakashi, and we're going to discuss the newest episode of Go here as well, because it aired yesterday, and it was something, that's for damn sure. So yeah, as well, I have read Umineko, I have read some of CUTTHROAT, so I'll probably be giving random Umineko spoilers every now and then if there's some connection to be made. There haven't been many so far, so you should be safe. I doubt that there will be any point where I do make a lot of them, unless there's a point where there are, well, a lot of connections to be made. So, still to be safe, if you haven't read Umineko, and you still want to, I recommend you don't watch my series in particular, but you can take the risk and still do it if you wanna, so feel free. I'm not gonna force you, but I recommend against it, just in case, so yeah. As well, I like to do my own voices, so the voices are going to be off. Hopefully that's not a make or break thing for any of you. I also turn up the text box opacity all the way because I'm weird. I just like it. I don't know why. I like the feel of it. I like the texture of it. That or I've been conditioned by Wonderful Everyday. Who knows? Either way, there's not really much else to be said before we get into the series. So we're just going to jump straight into the discussion for Go, which is going to be, not too terribly long, because I don't think there's too much to say about it. But also, if you're new here, I do this thing called spoiler time, sometimes for Go, other times for the original anime, where I will pull up the menu, or if I'm on the title screen, the config, and as long as that's up, I am in spoiler mode. So if you don't want spoilers, what you gotta do during that is mute your audio, or you can skip ahead. Honestly, probably best to do both. So, yeah, feel free. Tip if you're on laptop or computer, desktop, PC in some way, shape, or form. If you mute, you can press M to immediately mute, and you can use L to skip ahead 10 seconds. Unless that's just a Windows thing. I don't know if it is. So, yeah, if you're on Mac, that might not work, but I don't know. Either way, we're gonna jump straight into the discussion for Go. So, hell yeah. I'm also gonna turn up the audio for the game a little bit in the volume mixer, because I turned it down this chapter down a little bit more compared to Himatsubushi and Tatari Goroshi, because I feel like, you know, I could stand to have the game audio a little lower. But granted, I won't really know until I edit, so yeah. If the audio's too low, it'll be fixed for next time. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to go for too long anyway, since I don't have too much time. But we will see. Either way, ghost spoilers. If you don't want ghost spoilers, then mute. Alright, so, honestly, I think... Remember how I said we can take episode 16 at face value, for the most part? I don't believe that anymore. Whatever Satoko's doing, she's doing it maliciously. More than likely. Now, I could still be wrong. I could be very wrong. Because it's like, you know, kind of similar... Like, if we assume the whole red eyes thing that Satoko did at the end is similar to what Rika did in Watanagashi, where she went red eyes and started talking in Burn Castle mode to Keiichi, then I think that means she probably had a shift in demeanor and isn't fully herself. Could be wrong, could be right, who knows. I'm sure we'll figure out more in this upcoming arc, which I did not expect that to be the last episode of this arc, by the way. That took me by surprise. But at least, at long last, we finally have 100% confirmation that Satoko is a looper. Not necessarily that she's behind anything, but that she is looping around. But she did pull out a gun. So I think definitely in Okinomiya and Watanagashi, Satoko shot Rika and then shot herself in Okinomiya. Reasons unknown. And in Watanagashi, she shot Mion and then shot herself. Reasons unknown again. But this could be stupid, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's very possible we could have another looper. As for who that would be, I think our best candidate is Mion. Now, why would Mion be looping? Don't know. I still don't even... I thought of a potential reason for why Satoko could be looping, so I could probably think of a potential reason for Mion, but I don't really have a concrete theory. I only have 2 pieces of evidence that can imply... Well, actually 3 pieces of evidence that could imply that Mion is, behind what she's... That Mion is a looper, too. There are also things that could imply that she's not, but I'm not going to say for sure whether or not I think she is. I just think it's possible. So, 1. If Satoko shooting Rika in Okinomiya and then shooting herself is exactly what she's about to do here in Nekodomashi, because, well, she pulled out a gun, aimed it at Rika, very likely, bang, and then probably shoots herself, you know? Because you found out I'm looper, bang. So why would she do that to Mion? Well, could still be the same thing. You found out I'm looper. Bang. Shoots herself, too. Not to mention Mion referring to her as... I don't remember the phrasing she used. But she said, like, oh, I didn't expect them to send their minion after me. Or their watchdog or something. I don't know. They used some weird word to refer to Satoko. So, yeah. Beyond that, the only other piece of evidence I have is at the very beginning of Nekodomashi in the hide-and-seek game. Remember how I talked a lot about Mion using the key to open the outhouse, implying, therefore, that it's possible for a kid like Rika or Satoko to get in there without the key? Why would she check there, in particular, if she didn't know beforehand it is possible for kids to get in here? 2 reasons. 1, previous loop, she witnessed Satoko murder Rika and put her in the outhouse. Alternatively, she's not a looper, and she's just seen kids climb in there. But then, why would kids climb in there? It's an outhouse. That's kind of weird. But also, that door must have been locked, and it would not make much sense for an outhouse to always be locked. Like, you'd have to ask the teacher, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And she's like, alright, let me get the key from the teacher's lounge. That's weird. Granted, I don't remember if there's a regular bathroom in the house either, but still. Sorry about my dog. Only other thing I can really say is the evidence against Mion being a looper, which there's a lot. There is much. And that is that if she is a looper, then she's either not behind everything, or she's behind everything, but she's still getting fucked for some reason. Like, she still got shot by Oishi and killed. She still got beheaded by her own mother and killed. She didn't die in Okinomiya. She did die in Watanagashi, but she got shot by Shatoko. Bang, bang. Shatoko has gun. Yeah, duh. But we don't know what happened to her in the Nekodanmashi worlds. In the Nekodanmashi world with Keiichi. But we did see Satsuko on the ground in that one, so who knows. I think it's unlikely that Mion is a looper, but I just wanted to bring up that possibility. I think more than likely Satsuko's behind everything, but it might not be that she's doing it maliciously. She could have been coerced into doing it, or she literally has to do it, or else she'll suffer misfortune at the hands of Featherin or whoever the fuck else is behind everything. Whether that's potentially Mion, whether that's Featherin / Hanyu, or even Irie. Like I said beforehand, Irie could be behind shit. Doubt it, but it's possible. One last thing that I want to say, and that is a little thing about the ending sequence. I've heard occasional theories about the ending sequence, like there was one that I was directly told by a commenter. The part with Keiichi swinging around a bat with an enraged expression. He's wearing his casual clothes instead of his school uniform, and he was wearing his school uniform when he killed Rena and Mion with the bat in Onikakushi. So, they used that to think, okay, that could just be Tatari Damashi. So then I was thinking, well then, if that's possible, and that Keiichi in the ending is Keiichi and Tatari Damashi, then what about Satsuko in the ending? Because it's like, if Satsuko's a looper in Higurashi Go, then that scene with her holding her bear, or whatever it was, some stuffed animal, in front of Teppei, while her eyes look empty, the filter is kind of, wonkadoo, the ending art is a little abstract, not exactly abstract. You know what I'm trying to say. It's gritty looking. It doesn't look exactly like how the anime looks. So I'm thinking, maybe that's not Satsuko as a husk, scared because Teppei, scary, Teppei abusive, empty eyes, It could be looper eyes, thinking, alright, I'm going to murder this man. Just a thought. Might not be the case, but it could be. So, yeah, because also in the ending, there's several other characters who have, empty eyes, while they're in the ending. Like, Shion does. I don't remember what Mion looks like in the ED, because my eyes have always been more drawn to Shion's, more overtly angry expression. Rena also has empty eyes in there, and Keiichi I don't remember, because his eyes are dilated in it, so I don't remember, what exactly his eyes look like in the ED, but regardless, Shion, Satsuko, and Rena all have empty eyes in the ED. And it could be that scene with Shion and Mion, that's Watanagashi, and Shion has Hinamizawa syndrome, or the equivalent thing, or whatever the fuck, that Satsuko or someone else has been injecting into fools to make them go bonkers. Rena, we've never really seen any of Pinky. I don't know if Pinky would have shown up in any of the arcs we've already seen, so that could just be a glimpse into Sumi Horoboshi, but I'm not sure. But that does not necessarily mean that it didn't happen in any of the arcs. That could have happened, that could have happened in Okinomiya, actually. Since she was talking all about, I have to defend my father, and crap like that. So it could have been that Sumi Horoboshi shit did happen in Okinomiya in the background. So, yeah. That could mean that in Tatari Damashi, Satsuko killed Teppei. It's more or less all I wanted to say. So, yeah, most of it's just, throwing shit at the wall right now. But either way, I'm excited for the next arc, which, if I recall, is called Satsuko Washi. So, for once, it's not a Damashi, which is interesting. So, yeah. let's get into the game now. Welcome back from spoiler time. Let's begin. Let's see just what's so crazy good about this chapter. Meakashi, beloved cutthroat. Ooh. Eye-opening chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry, Kai. We finally reached the halfway point. From the viewpoint of the protagonist, try to find the truth behind the tragedy that unfolds. The difficulty is very high. It won't be easy to comprehend the motive of the perpetrator. Okay. This arc includes choices that were added in the console version. These choices result in dialogue changes and can lead to bad ends. Do you want to see these choices? We're just going to do what we did before, prompt choices and highlight correct answers. Because I was told in a previous episode... Well, let's read this first. She dropped her beads in the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the sands. They might be in the ocean, not the sand. So the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the ocean. They might be in the mountains, not the ocean. So the girl cried, come on. Don't go that fast. Whatever. Alright. So I was told in Himatsubushi at one point, when I first asked about the choices, that there is a choice towards the end of Meakashi, that leads, instead of to an immediate bad end, it leads to an alternate what-if scenario. So, I think I'll at least do that one. Before the true ending, don't know. Likely, but we'll see. It depends on exactly how long it is. Because if it's like multiple episodes long, I don't know if I'll do it at all. But we'll see. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Without knowing which key was the correct one, I had to go by instinct and try every key, one by one. On average, I'd reach the correct key within 3.5 attempts. I'd be fortunate if I could open the lock within the first 3 keys. And then I'd be unfortunate if I didn't. I had to think of the worst case scenario, getting the right key only on the very last attempt. I fought with my nervousness. My head ached from it. I put the key in and turned it. I just needed to repeat that small procedure several more times, but I couldn't stop shaking. Damn. Even a 3-year-old kid can do something this easy. So am I more childish than a 3-year-old? Whatever. I don't care if I'm clumsy. I just need to try all these keys. Even in the worst case scenario, the lock will open on the 7th try. No way! Reality isn't always the same as math. What happened was worse than my worst case scenario. None of the keys worked at all. Ooh. I don't even know what's going on. I could feel the blood draining from my brain. Did I get the wrong set of keys? No, I definitely see a faint marking that says this set is for this door. Am I just reading it wrong? Should I go back to the key cabinet to look for the right one? That would mean a great loss of time. Just by being here, I'm already risking so much. What, are you robbing a bank? Like, was that Armored Cars statement back in Onikakushi, like, intentional? Was that foreshadowing and that wasn't Mion, it was Shion? Like, something that could ruin everything might happen at any moment. If I can't open this lock, do I have to go back to the administration office? Well, that's definitely not a bank then. If there were no other choice, it'd be a waste of time to spend another second here. The administration office wouldn't necessarily be empty at this time. Somebody might come in. I won't be able to look for the right key if that happens. I stood up quickly, as if electrified. I was almost in a panic, and so felt the urge to move. My instinct pushed me. I have to go back there as quickly as possible. It's dangerous to be here, and it's also dangerous if somebody comes into the administration office. I cooled my head, making it as chilly as possible, to repress my fear. Calm down, Shion. Mion wouldn't panic in this situation. Man, what? That's already a fucking parallel in narration between you and Keiichi. If you constantly say, calm down, Shion, then, I don't know if that would just be coincidental or Ryukishi just kind of having a crutch with inner monologues. Maybe I'm just mistaken. Why don't I try the keys one more time? The next moment, I felt a faint vibration in the air. Somebody was walking somewhere in the hallway. So what, are you Administration office. You're in, I'm guessing, a school? That's the only place I can think of where there'd be an administration office, other than, like, an office building. But what fucking hallway would there be in like, a office, you know? If it were a normal situation, I would have known I wouldn't run into them, since the footsteps were very far away. But at the time, I couldn't think calmly. Ah, shit. Why am I panicking this much just because of footsteps? Calm down. Calm down. I should be feeling excited instead. Calm down, calm down. I just need to do what I have to do. I should ignore the footsteps, because they're not an immediate threat. Pretend they aren't there, and have to listen for something much more important right now. Ah, shit. This key should be hard and cold, but it's pliable and hot. It feels like rubber. How could I stick this into the keyhole? Shit, shit, shit! It wasn't the key that was pliable. It's my fingers that were limp. Ah, shit, shit, shit! The key sprung out of my hand and fell to the floor. It shouldn't have made any sound, because it was so pliable, but it made a tremendous metal noise as if somebody pushed over a cupboard. Cling! The sound almost stopped my heart. I felt dizzy for a while. I looked around afterwards to carefully see if I caused any disturbance to the surroundings. Calm down, calm down. Nothing's changed. I don't hear anything. So, am I safe? Calm down. Calm down, calm down. Wait, I don't hear anything? What about those footsteps in the distance? Calm down, calm down, calm down. Are they looking for me after they notice the sound? Ah, shit. What is that sound I'm hearing? Is it my sweat dripping on the floor? Shut up, shut up, shut up! How can I hear the sound of my sweat? Calm down, calm down, calm down. Calm the fuck down! I have to clarify. This isn't a prison or a detention center. It's a private school. Okay, you are in a school. I was thinking so. I guess my first guess was right. Not a normal one, though. It costs a fortune just to get in. It's a boarding school that provides education from elementary school to university. Being for girls only, rather than a school, you could say it's a factory that manufactures ladies. Okay. Some of my classmates here have never even used public transportation. Really, it isn't normal. To me, saying, "How nice to see you," instead of just "hi," is already insane. That translates a little weird, but I know what you're talking about. That phrase, "Goki gen yo," right? Which is like a polite way of saying hello. And calling the teachers sisters gives me the creeps. Yeah, that's weird. That's definitely weird. I hate the morning and evening prayers, to say nothing of the Sunday Mass. I don't want to memorize the Bible passages, and the Holy Ghost gives me a rash. What, you're in a Christian academy? I didn't know there were many of those in Japan. If I stayed in this institution, that's what I call the place, for many years, I'd either go crazy or be brainwashed. Most of the girls choose to be brainwashed, but I can't do that. After all, I was more impressed by the political schemes and international trade behind religious propagation than by the love of God which the Bible teaches. Because of that, I'd been treated as a problematic child from the beginning. I experienced lots of disadvantages as a result. Why are you here though, but Mion's not? Like, is it because Mion's supposed to be the head of the family, so Oreo or Akane was just like, go away. I realized that quickly, so I superficially pretended to be normal. However, I got tired of acting, so I started to reveal my true self from time to time. I became a problematic child once again. People started to treat me differently once again. It's fun to misbehave, but it wouldn't do anything for me in the long run. So why did I act that way? Why, even though I knew it was going to backfire on me later on? After examining my emotions, I realized that I'd completely had it with my surroundings. I think the game audio is definitely a bit too low, looking at my Bandicam thing, so I'm gonna turn it up to 15? Okay, now it picks up, so it should be better. I was afraid of being brainwashed in this institution. I can't live here. I won't let them brainwash me. Granted, this is also a relatively quiet song, so I'll actually put it down at like 14. Shift down just a wee bit, thank you. 6 months ago, I decided to escape this place. The moment I made up my mind, I started to feel alive again. I acted ladylike in order to deceive the sisters. Pretending became fun once I'd set my goal. It gave me the creeps when they told me with smiles that it was God's influence I started to behave religiously. I laughed at them behind their backs. I took on my classmates' duties in order to understand the layout of the school and the schedules of the staff and guards. I soon found out that the security of the school was immensely tight because there were many daughters of important people living there. The guards walked their beat randomly. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. The system that kept out intruders ironically also worked to prevent escapees. But that excited me instead. I simulated how to avoid all the surveillance in my head many times. I drew an escape route in the corner of my notes during class and tested if it worked. I strove to acquire any necessary skills for the escape. It was all fun. After all, the situation was cathartic for me. That's who I am. No matter how hard they tried to brainwash me, I never change. I'd been waiting for the moment of my escape, preparing physically and mentally. First, I needed the courage to escape. I had to be confident of the plan. I had to think deeply about it. I also needed skills and physical strength. I imagined all the possible obstacles and trained myself. It was funny because I was finally able to enjoy gym classes, even the long-distance runs. I needed a perfect plan, as well as the physical strength and skills necessary to execute it. Also, supported by those things, I needed determination. Yeah, funny. I made sure that I had all I needed and executed the plan. I decided to plant a seed in school before the appointed day. This is your school? Akasaka roomed here last chapter? That's weird. No, I get it. It's just reused assets. I think the painting there's different after all, and I don't remember the lampshades being diagonal. The seed was a rumor that one of the male teachers was having a relationship with a student. Okay. I won't go into the details now, but that can turn into an enormous problem in this school. The school is limited to girls precisely because their parents want to avoid those kinds of problems. Those parents are mostly important people from various positions. If the romance was a fact and was leaked to the public, the principal would have to commit suicide in shame. Okay. In fact, even that might not be enough. In the world of girls, rumors spread fast, especially when they're separated from boys and are obsessed with dirty thoughts. So this kind of rumor goes around really quickly. The sisters try to get rid of that kind of rumor, and they warn the students not to be swayed by it. But apparently, they're the ones who are most swayed by those rumors. This means that I managed to make them furtively deal with something shady, without contacting families or the authorities. I mean, well, no, I guess with like a high schooler having relations with a high school teacher, flip that around. That probably would be a reason to call police, right? Just like, hey, this guy's, you know, an adult trying to date a minor. That's weird. Go get him. But, yeah, I mean, calling parents, though, like, oh my god, one of your kid's classmates is potentially having romantic affairs with a teacher. Like, you needed to know this, obviously. Bye. Please give us more money so your kid can keep coming here. That's odd. So if I disappeared in these circumstances, it looked like I ran away with some teacher. All the male teachers would deny it, of course. However, the school wouldn't believe what they said so easily. After all, there's a dirty rumor going around. By the time the school finds out about my escape, after they eliminate all the other possibilities, I'll be somewhere safe. I tried hard to spread the rumor that I was involved in the forbidden romance as widely as possible. The sisters questioned me a few times, but since the romance was something I'd made up, they couldn't find anything. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find any evidence. After 3 months, I was certain that I created a solid foundation. I swapped after dinner duties with my classmates so that I could adjust my schedule on this day. I was even able to fill them with suspicion about me by doing that. Now they'll definitely suspect I ran away with some male teacher. Okay. You're already technically a smarter protagonist than Keiichi. Mr. like, I'm gonna kill him in 1500 seconds and takes a whole night to do it. Tonight was the night. I began my chores after dinner. After lights out, somebody will find out about my disappearance. My generous roommate would probably wait about 10 minutes before she reported me to a sister, but no longer than that. I had about an hour tops, but that's enough for me. I took a step off my regular route. That was the first step toward my great escape. I calmed down and thought, the key shouldn't be wrong. This lock is old and firm. Isn't it possible that I put the right one in, but the lock was just stiff and I only thought I got the wrong one? I realized that my nervousness was making me clumsy. The gloves that I'm wearing to avoid leaving fingerprints must be getting in the way too. You really think they'd be that thorough? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I should try the keys one more time. I picked the most probable one and gently inserted it into the keyhole. It's stiff. If I twist too strongly, I might break the key. The moment I thought of giving up, I felt something in my fingertips. The key worked! I slowly opened the door. I could hear the crickets. I don't have to hesitate now, but somehow I'm reluctant to step outside. I can still make excuses up to this point. It might look awkward, but I still can. Wait, also, why are you trying to hide fingertips if you're trying to make it look like you did escape? But if I take a step outside now, there can be no excuse. If the guards find me, they'll take me to the office immediately. There have been escape attempts before. That's not really so strange. I don't think I'm the only heathen here. It's understandable that there have been people before who couldn't fit in this place. So the school is well aware of the possibility of escapees. I've heard rumors about what happened to those who were caught while attempting to escape. I don't want to believe any of those stories, though. You see, all the school's horror stories involve students who attempted escapes. Whatever. Bring it on. Ooh. Music. I'm not expecting to get a second chance anyway. There will always be only one chance. Things get serious beyond this door. I psyched myself up and pushed the door open. A strong smell was hanging in the air. Is that normal for the outside? I never smelled this strong, grassy smell before. Is there something going on? Do I have to be wary of it? Should I go back and wait for another chance? That's silly. There's nothing strange going on. The smell is something I smell every day. I just wasn't aware of it. It's true, isn't it? Even though I pretend to be cool, I'm nothing but a nervous wreck. Nope, CG. Calm down. Calm down, Shion. I can rely only on the map inside my head from this point onward. I'd researched the locations of all the surveillance cameras. I'm confident that I'll be able to avoid all of them, but I'm not sure about the guards. They pick their patrol routes randomly after all. I have to take a chance. I can hide myself in most places, but there's an area where there's nowhere to hide for several meters. I concentrated to keep my senses keen. Well, I have to depend on my luck in the end. Even if I do my best, the guard might find me by mere chance. On the contrary, I might be able to get away no matter how unwisely I choose to move, if I'm lucky. Damn. After all that effort, it just boils down to luck? This is a gamble after all. When I realized that, I got excited. Yes, this is a gamble. I'm trying my luck. This is a game to test the determination to change my life. If somebody failed to escape from the school, that meant they didn't have enough luck to survive in the real world. But I'm different. I'm built different. I'm going to get out of here. I'm testing my luck. Here goes, Shion. I ignored the noisy bugs and concentrated only on suspicious sounds. This song kind of just feels like a weird Wild West amalgamation with, actual chase music. I heard no threats. The loudest sound wasn't the bugs. It was my own heartbeat. Same CG. Crunch. Even my own footsteps were so loud they could break my eardrums. With each and every step, my overactive imagination tormented me with premonitions of unexpected run-ins with the guards. Countless times that torture grew too hard to bear, and I thought of running. But if I broke into a run, the noise I made would only draw suspicion. I thought you were running regardless. Like, this fucking CG makes it look like you're running. If anyone heard running at a time and place where people shouldn't be, they would realize something abnormal was happening. But if the footsteps they heard were just walking, then they would likely think nothing of it. Of course, I don't plan on even letting them hear those footsteps. I tried to extend my senses to get as much information as possible. I didn't sense anyone's presence. I might have felt safer if I heard a guard in the distance. I'm worried that my senses might not be keen enough to detect everything. Somebody might be right behind me, without me being aware of it. I didn't want to make any noise, so I stopped from time to time. It's like I'm constantly fidgeting. To stop or to run. Something within urged me to choose from either one. I can't choose to stop. I have to keep going quickly and stealthily. I'm already risking so much just by being here. Running, of course, would be absurd. I know that. The urge to run continued to bug me. My head was filled with those thoughts as I went through this dangerous territory. I succeed in passing through without running into anybody. I couldn't help but sit for a moment and exhale the rotten air from my lungs. My negative thoughts vanished quickly. Just a little more to go. Just a little more. Just through that bush over there is the fence that separates this place and the outside world. Once again, I strongly felt the urge to run. I suppressed that desire and carefully tackled the final step. The beautiful-looking fence didn't seem designed to prevent escapes. While I was worried that somebody might see me climbing up the fence, it fortunately didn't happen. It's even possible that this fence might have a touch sensor. It's too late now. Doesn't mean anything now, since I'm already climbing up. From the top, the fence seemed about 7 feet high. I have to go down carefully, just like when I climbed up. I knew that logically, but I couldn't think that way anymore. I chose to jump off with no hesitation. Of course, I regretted my decision during the fall. I got scared because the flight was longer than I expected. I didn't land beautifully. I fell onto my butt. But there was nobody around to laugh, and I didn't have time to be embarrassed. I looked around to see if anybody heard my landing. Even the crickets weren't interested in the sound I made. I felt relieved. I looked at my watch. 5 minutes until 8 p.m. It was just a 15-minute escape. Putting a number to it really made it obvious how short it had been. Looking back, most of the time I was just asking myself questions and hesitating. I guess I worried too much. But I can't be too relaxed just yet. There's no guarantee that I fooled all the cameras. This place isn't a bank. There won't be a fire alarm going off even if the guards did see me. It's possible they're rushing this way right now. I can't enjoy the air of freedom yet. I hid myself into darkness and waited. There's still time left until the rendezvous. Ooh. Well, that's a fucking intro, that's for sure. Very interesting. New song immediately, too. I watched the school premises while waiting, but it looked like nothing strange was going on. The building was lit up, and the beautiful Western-style architecture made it hard to believe that it was a school. It should be armed with electrifying wires, searchlights, and guard dogs, like the prison it is. I thought I'd experience a surge of school memories in a situation like this, but it didn't happen. That sort of thing only happens when you have good memories. I have no good memories of this school, so there's nothing to remember. But if I could pick a series of images to recall, it'd be the luxurious dinners we had every night. So my memories would be nothing but international cuisine, Japanese, Chinese, French, and so on. What the hell? That's just too funny. I burst into laughter. At that point, I heard a car approaching. I crouched into darkness. The plate number is the same as I was expecting. That's the car. I jumped out and rushed to the passenger side, then opened the door and got in. No, yeah, that figures. Alright. I'm guessing you're gonna show up a lot more now, Kasai. So, I guess I have to give you, like, a legitimate voice now. We'll just go with, like, a super duper deep voice until Until or unless I see a reason to change it.
Nice to see you, Shion-san.
The driver was a man of early old age. He'd be angry if he heard me say that, though. He thinks he's still middle-aged. He looked at my face and learned that I succeeded. He smiled. The air feels so fresh. I'm gonna eat a burger for a start.
I heard they serve excellent food in the school, but I suppose you were served nothing but gruel, huh?
No way, dumbass. I was just kidding. Step on the gas if you have time to laugh at me.
As you wish.
Kasai really did laugh out loud. After telling me to buckle up, he accelerated. The cathedral-like school disappeared from the mirror in an instant. It disappeared so quick that I didn't have time for a surge of dinner memories. Goodbye, my lovely school days. Haha, I'm going to fill my stomach with junk food from now on. I'll forever be free from the table manners you taught me. Haha! Serves you right. I'm glad I didn't go to a private school. I went to a public school where it was even perfectly acceptable to fight people in the cafeteria and vape in the bathroom. I did neither of those things, but still I could have gotten away with it. As we drove, the scenery began to change. Soon we were surrounded by vast fields of crops and few streetlights. It reminded me that this was just the countryside of Japan, not Europe.
Are you hungry? Would you like me to stop somewhere to eat?
That's okay, I already ate. I lied. I'm actually a bit hungry. I didn't eat much at dinner to avoid slowing myself down with a full stomach. I appreciated Kasai's offer, but I didn't feel like taking the time to eat while we were still in enemy territory.
It's late, so you only find vending machines at the highway rest stops. Oh, I heard there are hamburger and oden vending machines nowadays.
What's oden? Huh? What the hell? Will that dispense a cup and the ingredients like a coffee vending machine? That's gross.
I don't think it's like that. It usually comes in a can.
Sorry. I can't stand canned food.
Still? I thought you might have grown out of it.
I haven't because I can't. Get it? Shut up. Why are you laughing? Kasai chuckled. He must have been trying to help me relax. He isn't usually so talkative. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get some sleep. How do I recline this?
Look for the lever on the lower left part of the seat. Can you find it?
Oh, here it is. Here I go. Kasai laughed again. Did I do something funny?
No. It's just that the way you talked sounded like Mion-san.
Well, obviously. Mion and I are identical twins. We're perfect copies of each other. When I react to something, so will Mion. When Mion reacts to something in a certain situation, I'll react the same way. Well, that's not necessarily true, but you have similar voices, so... How's this?
I believe she's fine. I only see her when I bring your father to the family councils.
That's right. She doesn't live in our parents' home anymore. She's living with Grandma in Hinamizawa now, isn't she?
She moved into the main house around the same time you started going to that school.
I responded with disinterest, even though I was the one to ask about her in the first place. The main house is where Oreo, the current leader of the Sonozaki family, lives. That's my grandma, who I call a hag. But when we use the phrase the main house, that usually means more than just a dwelling. What Kasai refers to is the same thing. Did she change?
You mean Mion-san?
Yeah. I think she has to have changed if she's living so closely with Grandma. Kasai chuckled yet again. He knows I hate my grandma.
I haven't noticed any changes. She's still the Mion-san you know.
What about me? Did I change?
No, not at all.
Kasai responded quickly with a smirk. I haven't seen him for a while, though. It's not fun if he answers this quickly. I glared at him, and then he burst out laughing. Laughing, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
You haven't changed at all. That's admirable, since you've been in such a strict school for so long.
Damn it. Laugh as much as you want. I'm going to sleep.
There's a blanket in the back. Please make use of it.
Thanks. I grabbed the blanket and rolled up in it. I'm exhausted, but I can't go to sleep. It's strange. Or maybe not. I must be tired from the escape. It's just that I'm still feeling tense. So I have to declare it once again, if only to calm myself. I'm sleeping! I totally am!
Alright, it's the third time you said that. Do I have to give you permission to sleep?
You're talking too much! I can't go to sleep if you don't quiet down.
I apologize, princess. I'll keep quiet now.
This interaction with Kasai reminded me of the old peaceful days in Okinomiya. Well, I don't really know if I can call those days peaceful. We were in the middle of the dam protests back then, after all. We all united together, and now that I think about it, we pulled a lot of pretty dangerous stunts. If the authorities ever find out what I did, I'd never escape going to juvie. Well, at least half the people in Hinamizawa would be off to prison. We didn't think of them as criminal acts, though. It was a war. It might also have been a festival. A festival where every person in Hinamizawa joined together in protest. It was a struggle, but it was also fun. It was fun to throw stones at the riot police with everybody. Based. We hid ourselves in somebody's home when they chased after us. We'd even go crowd around the police station, demanding the release of our arrested comrades. When we snuck into the construction site and sabotaged it, it felt more like we were playing at war than conducting one. I got so excited back then. I felt united with my fellow members, even though they were strangers to me, and that memory warms my heart. Yes, the way it felt back then was like helping everyone to carry a sacred palanquin through the village, getting all sweaty and exhausted together. Until we all collapsed face first on the ground and shared our excitement and cheers with unfamiliar faces over tea. I was just a kid back then. I remember accompanying young men who worked for my dad out to the village to do various bad things. I was arrested a few times. It didn't feel any different, though, than when I was called to the teacher's office for forgetting my homework. The other villagers were furious about the dam project. But for those of us who were kids at the time, it's a pretty fun memory. All that came to a sudden end a few years ago. It wasn't only the power of the protests that ended the dam construction project. The Sonozaki family and my dad's organization had worked secretly in the shadows. This is top secret information in the Sonozaki family, but it said they may or may not have kidnapped the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to blackmail him. The grandson was found a few days after the abduction. He was found in the mountains of Yagauchi. He didn't simply disappear, and he wasn't demoned away. That means some kind of deal was made secretly. A year after that, the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely. The police suspected the villagers' involvement and investigated, but they couldn't find any leads. The villagers never betrayed each other. They'd do anything to protect their fellow man. They fabricated fake alibis and fake evidence. It was easy to deceive the police. Gah. The car suddenly shook, snapping me out of it. I must have run over a bump or something. I suddenly realized my expression was a very happy one for some reason. Must be looking forward to going home.
Shion-san, are you awake?
What is it?
Would you like me to take you to the house in Okinomiya?
Where else would you be taking me? I answered straightforwardly with a frown. Kasai, then, also chose to reply straightforwardly.
It was the family head who decided on your enrollment in St. Lucia.
Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, got it. Same school. Okay. That's actually a little surprising, but alright, so that does exist in Higurashi too. Got it. So is it just an arbitrary connection between Higurashi and Umineko, or what? Okay, whatever.
And you ran away from there. You do understand the situation you're in.
The school grandma chose didn't fit me, that's all.
Shion-san.
I know. Shut up. As the head of the Sonozaki family, the Hag's decisions are absolute. They're nothing like, say, the 3-second rule. Worse, the decision to confine me to an academy far away from the Sonozaki family was made before I was even born. Shion was the name they gave me. My sister Mion has a character that means demon in her name. That was to signify that she's the successor of demons. In other words, she would be the successor to the Sonozaki family and its demonic bloodline. My name, Shion, has a character that means temple in it. This means that I was destined to take the veil and be confined in a temple. Thinking of that reminds me how much I hate this name of mine. For starters, the person known as Shion is an abominable being to the Sonozaki family, because it meant the family had 2 heirs. I don't have to cite the countless historical examples to explain. It's easy to imagine how that could prove troublesome for succession. Hold on, I'm assuming it means then, like, if Mion has a character that means demon in her name, that has to be Mio, right? Wow, Shion, temple, Shio? Well, doesn't Shio also mean salt? So really, you're just salty, Shion. According to our long-held family traditions, one of the twins was to be strangled to death right after birth. Oh, wow. How fun. Unbelievable, isn't it? What that means is that I have to be grateful just to be alive and breathing to this day. I heard the egg actually put her hands around my neck right after I was born. I don't know what exchange took place in that moment. Maybe some brave relative of mine managed to get her to stop. Or maybe she was in an extremely good mood that day. Then don't try to strangle me. Yeah, I don't think you would strangle a baby, a newborn, an infant. Like, no longer a fetus as of 30 seconds ago. I don't think you would strangle that if you were in a good mood, you know? We're twins. There are no apparent differences between us. But the first one out of my mom's stomach was named Mion, and the second one drew the short straw and got named Shion. Everyone else was desperate to tell us apart, but we sisters just found that awfully ridiculous. There wasn't any difference between us. No one could tell us apart, even if we only swapped hats. We wondered why all the grown-ups were trying to see the differences. Well, our fun as twins didn't last forever. One day, they created an undeniable, clear distinction between Mion and Shion. Mion went to the main Sonozaki house to live with the hag and to learn how to become the successor, and I was to be confined at St. Lucia's. I have no objection to Sis's inheritance. I used to be jealous, but now I feel that having to learn about and follow the traditions would just make me tired. I even feel sorry for Mion. So I'm not going to be a threat to the family, even if I'm back in Okinomiya. But the hag doesn't seem to think that way. She thinks of me as some kind of evil omen. That's why she wanted to keep me away from her. That doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see her face either. I don't care if she doesn't allow me to enter Hinamizawa. She can charge me 10,000 yen per step I take there. But I want her to let me live in Okinomiya, where I grew up. When I was little, I was in Hinamizawa, but I don't remember it much, and I'm not very attached to it. I do have good memories of my elementary school days in Okinomiya. The town isn't very sophisticated, but I kind of like it there. If you go back to Okinomiya, somebody from the family will notice you, and then they'll report you to the main house. Are you worried that Grandma will hear about me? That might be a problem. I hope you understand the situation. What, Kasai? Are you telling me to go back to that awful place? No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is... You want to know whether I'm prepared or not? I just hope you understand what might happen. Well, I know what you mean. You'll be held responsible for helping me escape if things go bad, right? You should caress your pinky finger while you can, Kasai, before they take it away from you. You should look forward to being rolled up in a futon mat and thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp in that case. Maybe they'll send you to the torture room in the garden. I heard there's a big torture room in the main Sonozaki house. Yep, there sure is. I've never seen it, though. I heard they used to torture and kill the enemies of the village in there. It's just awful, really. I hope I don't end up as a victim of that place. Okay. Everything's going to be alright. You really resemble your mother. In the way you take chances, I mean. That's normal. She's my mom. My dad and mom will be furious if they find out about my escape. I'm more afraid of them than of the hag. I don't want to go into the details, but my dad is part of the Yakuza. He's in charge of the organization which covers the Shishibone area. He's in a very important position. So is Kasai here. He's an old friend of Dad who really trusts him. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Kasai used to be very aggressive, though he's gentle now. I also heard he has tons of scars. He was in charge of a few large areas, but after he was injured badly in a fight, he retired. Now he's my dad's consultant, aka a drinking buddy. He was my caretaker in my childhood, and now I feel like he's my butler. At first, I thought my dad asked him to supervise me, so I hated him. But in time, I started to feel like he was on my side. This is just a hunch, but I think Kasai used to be in love with my mom. My dad, mom, and Kasai were in a love triangle, though my dad took the lead in the end. Kasai couldn't leave my mom entirely, so he stayed around as my dad's friend. I can tell that from the way he acts. He's seeing my mom in me. That's why he says I look like my mom every now and then. It kinda gave me the creeps at first, but he isn't a bad guy at all. He's just incredibly tall. Like, look at this man. He's actually pretty funny. Why did I just think of something so fucking cursed? He's just older Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. Like, please tell me I'm not the only person who sees that. Just the shape of his head and his hair. Like, I'm sorry. That's very cursed. I only found that out after I got used to him. So when I thought about escaping, I naturally turned to him. I contacted him in an early stage of my plan and arranged to meet him today. You could call him a conspirator. It's not surprising he's worried about my return to Okinomiya. Considering the rules and traditions, cutting off his pinky finger isn't too far from reality. I might be rolled up in a futon mat and thrown into the swamp for real, too. Even so, there's only one place for me to return. I'm going to Okinomiya, and nowhere else. That's my hometown. This might be a kind of homesickness, but I don't care what it looks like. So, what are you going to do? The Sonozaki family is everywhere. Oh, I'll lay low for now. If somebody sees me, I'll tell them I'm Mion. Then what? Then after things calm down a little bit, I'll start talking to my closest relatives. I know they'll be on my side. I know some people who covered for me when I had a fight with my dad once. I see. You're trying to create a fair... fate? Fight? I don't know. A compromise so that the Sonozaki main house will have to accept you later on? I hope that works. It will. There were many people who were opposed to the idea of enrolling me in that school. That decision was obviously made because of the hag's hatred toward me. Don't you agree, Kasai? Well, yes. I thought that decision was excessive. She couldn't make the right decision because she was suffering from menopause. Okay. All the fuss surrounding the damn protest drove her nuts. Kasai smiled. I couldn't go to sleep after all, even though I was rolled up in a blanket. Even though I told Kasai to shut up, I kept talking to him. In time, I got tired of talking, as I could feel the car run smoothly on the highway. Kasai spoke to me again. Shion-san? Look. I was so tired that I ignored him. I wondered what he wanted me to look at, but I wasn't that interested. Yet I opened my eyes slightly and saw a sign quickly pass by. Kasai probably wanted me to see that sign. It had an illustration of azaleas around the letters that said, Welcome to Shishibone City. My hometown is coming right up. Oh, Chapter 5, Meakashi. Shion Sonozaki. Yep, that is... I thought this song was Dear You for a second. Oh, okay. Keiichi Maibara, Rena Ryugu, Mion Sonozaki, Satoko Hojo, Rika Furude. Yep, rest of the main cast. Oh, wow. Satoshi Hojo, Kurado Oishi, Jiro Tomatake, Mio Takano, Kyosuke Irie, Tatsuyoshi Kasai, Rumiko Chie, and I don't know what the last one would have been. Alright, Kuiosis. Oh, it is Dear You! I thought it was. It sounded similar. Okay. Yeah, oh god, hello. Fucking loud. I'm gonna stay quiet. I'll comment on shit happening afterwards if you can hear me. Don't know what that kanji is, but I don't think it's ho. It might be kai. Yeah, there was a lot of shit in that. Oh, new tips unlocked. The notebook's beginning. Cool. That was a cool opening. Achievement unlocked, goodbye, sister. That song was really fucking good, though. Holy shit. You just go from Dear You into a banger like that. Holy crap. Well, I'm making it sound like Dear You's bad. Dear You is not a bad song. Dear You is, in fact, a very, very good song. So, yeah. There were definitely a lot of things from the console arcs in there, I'm guessing, because there were plenty of characters I didn't recognize. Some of them were bloody. There was that green-haired girl looked like she was staring at Keiichi? Like, was that Keiichi? I feel like some of those CGs were also in the, Himatsubushi opening, and I think that one was, right? But then it showed a guy who didn't look like Keiichi. I don't know. Very weird, but Keiichi seems like he's always being drawn in a very wackadoo art style in the visual novel, more so than any other character. Like that last CG of him in Tatari Goroshi, for example, where he looks disgusting. Yeah, that's about all I have to say for that. There were definitely spoilers in there, too. I saw several things. You know. How there was even one thing that looked like it was from Go. Which, obviously, it probably isn't. It's just a parallel thing that happens in Go as well as in the original visual novel here that I don't remember. Probably happened in, like, Mina Goroshi or Matsuri Bayashi, if I had to guess, but we'll see when I get there, you know? Anyways, let's read this tip and then probably end the episode. Ooh. The tip song is different. Interesting. The notebook's beginning. June 1982. Satoshi Hojo disappeared several days after the Watanagashi festival. There were 3 possible reasons for his disappearance. One possibility is that it was an accident. Dead bodies sometimes end up in irrigation channels a few months after hit-and-run incidents. But since the police did a thorough search of the area and hadn't found his body, this possibility seems small. The second possibility is a self-motivated disappearance. Satoshi-kun had been living in dire circumstances. His close friends actually heard him imply he might run away. The police thought he skipped town after killing his aunt. That seemed plausible, considering that aspect. This chanting is reminding me of Mario songs. I don't know why. Like, bum, bum, you know, I don't know why. I can't unhear that. Whatever. But the police arrested another person for the murder, so this hypothesis must also be considered false. The last possibility is that he was involved in the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's also called the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. He fell victim to it and disappeared. Unless Oyashiro-sama's occult power is actually verified, this curse must be the act of humans. It's only natural to assume that Satoshi-kun was made to disappear by someone's will. So the question is, whose? The possibilities are quite limited. The culprit is either a member of the Sonozaki family, a member of the 3 families, or one of their many relatives. The police can assume that easily. I need to think beyond that. Who did it? How did it happen? And why did it have to be done? Why did Satoshi-kun fall victim? What was the motive? Who gave out that order? Who actually did it? The mastermind, the culprit, and the truth are all in reach of my grasp. Maybe I'll find them right behind my back. But even so, I can't reach everywhere. There are parts of my back I have to make an effort to reach, clenching my teeth and cracking my joints so that the tips of my fingers can barely touch them. The truth is hidden in places like those. I'm writing this because I need to organize my thoughts and memories. Nobody will read it other than myself. But if somebody does, that means that either I threw these notes away because I no longer needed them, or I fell victim to the curse of Oyashiro-sama in the middle of my attempt to solve the mystery. If it was the former, that's okay. But if it was the latter, please, I want you to help me. Please help this powerless young girl. Alright. I don't even know who would have written that. Okay, continue. AD 1982. wait, 1982, okay. The fourth year of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as Oyashiro-sama's curse. 1 year prior to Keiichi Maebara's transfer. I still don't get a Sprite, damn it! Alright. Well, I guess in that case then, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm enjoying this chapter a lot so far. It's probably got one of the strong... So far, I say, it's got... Would I say the strongest start? The most serious start, by far, out of the chapters so far. But I'm enjoying it a lot, so... Yeah, I'm excited to continue it, see how shit develops, knowing what happens overall, so yeah. That's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!